Here.
Wicker?
Here.
Mr. Bishop?
Here.
Mr. Masterson?
Here.
Mr. Coyle?
Was here. He's here somewhere.
He said there was no room.
Yeah, no
Don't
problem.
want to wait for him.
He put a fence right next to it.
We can't.
What's this?
I meant his watch is broke.
Probably.
I took up for you. I said your watch was broke.
You know, you got to the doctor. Sorry about that.
All right, the first item on the agenda is consider approval of minutes from previous meeting held Thursday, September the 20th, 2018.
Motion.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Unanimous.
And also the special call meeting held Tuesday, October the 2nd, 2018
Motion.
at the detention center.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Second item on the agenda, Ms. Michaela Epps was scheduled to be here tonight, but maybe she got her times mixed up or I don't know if she's not here, so we'll just proceed on. Maybe she'll show up. She don't, we'll come back to it at the end of the meeting or something. Third item on the agenda is consider approval of annual contribution to Marion County Youth Basketball Program in the amount of $2,500.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle? Unanimous.
And the fourth item on the agenda is consider approval of transfer to EMS in the amount of $40,000.
Motion.
Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker? Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 5, consider approval of payment of one half of Brown Foreman Road project in the amount of $18,000. The other half, paid for the other $18,000. So I discussed it with Kevin. We decided to take that $18,000 out of industrial incentives line item. So that was.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'd also like to thank Maker Smart for stepping up and assisting on that.
Yeah, good job.
I'm glad we asked.
Good deal. Thanks for recommending that. Appreciate it.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item number 6 is discussion of Jack Rakes Road low water crossing issue. On September the 24th, we received a notice of violation from the Department of Environmental Protection for the low water crossing that we installed September of 2017. They were called to that location for another incident that a landowner had been in the creek with a bulldozer and had also been cited with a violation. And in doing so, they discovered the low water crossing that we put in September of last year. And a couple violations are it was not permitted and it's impeding water is the problem. Really wasn't aware that we were required to permit these types of crossings. I'm not aware that we ever permitted them prior to this. So going forward, Keith and myself have looked at this violation and have contacted all the parties involved in this violation, and basically they're requiring us to take this low water crossing out. And going forward, we've already got a process in place. I know a few weeks ago we had an issue out on the road, and Jimmy, what was that road we met with the Brian from Kedron Road? We had some issues out right by the road where it was washing down, and you know, prior to that we never had contacted water quality on any of this stuff. So we, going forward, understand the importance of doing it, and we're just fortunate that we could have been fined a lot worse in reality. And they're willing to work with us, and they're requiring us to remove the low water crossing, and it's up to us whether we put another one back or not. It's up to you guys what you all think we need to do. I do have a paper there from a PE, Mr. Brad Spalding from Washington, or Nelson County, has looked at the area and has determined what it would take to make that correct if we decide to do that. So
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Brock. Have we gone through do we have the nationwide, well, you're familiar with the nationwide certification? Nationwide certification. It's a certification that you can achieve with Department of Environmental Cabinet, as far as there's certain things that they understand governments have to do, local and state, city, county governments have to do. And if you qualify that, you get certified with that, then basically all you have to do is send up the information. For example, I think you spoke to Cabrina.
Yeah, Cabrina County.
Yes, that's correct. So once you do that, then it makes it a lot easier, because then what we do is that we send up, well, someone has to be designated to send that information up. And let me say this, going forward, because, obviously we don't want to waste any money. Nobody wants to waste any money. But going forward, just so we know, it's just not bridges, it's also box culverts. So if we put a box culvert in, we need to make them aware and send them that information. It's a simple permit, and actually it goes through two divisions, correct? It goes through water and, floodplain or something?
Floodplain management.
There you go, floodplain management. So it goes through those two departments, they sign off on it, and as long as you give them a heads up, and I would suggest you look into this nationwide certification. Once we get that, she said it's a very quick process, so we don't have to wait around a long time, because they understand that we're out here, all counties, governments are out here doing this. But I will say this, if we don't do it, then obviously we open ourselves up to violation. And, it's one of those old sayings that, once you've stuck your head out, they know who you are, so.
We still have to get a permit, though.
Yeah, for example, the Landers Creek, Landers Creek Bridge, we have to go through that process. If you're going to take a box culvert, even if it's an existing culvert you're replacing, you still have to go through that process, okay?
Go ahead. Do we, if we bid it out, is it our responsibility to get the permit, or is it their responsibility?
No, well, it depends on your bid. Now, if we bid, now that's a good question, Jody. If we bid it out, for example, we bid a box culvert out, and let's say whoever that, we can stipulate in that box culvert, or in that bid, that they're to obtain it. But, let me say this, it still falls back, and I'm sure the county attorney will tell you, it still falls back on us if that didn't happen. So the bottom line is, we're better off, we know we need to do it, and we're better off taking care of it up front. And I think Keith, and talking to Cabrina, super nice to work with, and I think that she, along with, can't remember the other gentleman's name, but anyway, they're more than willing to work with us. They work with county governments all the time. So if we can get that nationwide permit set up, then I think it'll be a much more rapid process to where we're not waiting around.
Does anyone know if Hornback actually is permitted? We've done a lot of work with Hornback. Do they permits for us?
Yeah.
Permitted.
I'm just curious.
Permitted
Do
as far as.
they have the permits to do this, Hornback themselves? I don't know.
Well, I don't know if there is such a thing as a permit to, per se, build.
You have to have a permit to get in any kind of creek.
Well, again, that's the point. That's the
Well, I
whole
just wonder
point.
if Hornback has actually been, do they carry that
Certified to
responsibility
do that.
themselves?
Keith, you can.
I don't know.
Out here, I'm not aware, in talking to Cabrina and also to Cindy, I don't know if you spoke to Cindy, but,
We
Yeah.
talked to both of them
Yeah.
last week, yeah.
but in talk, that has, the contractor doesn't have anything to do with it. It's all on us. And what they do is that they will then, we provide the plans, we provide the information, we provide the structure, and they approve it. Now, once they approve it and we start, then they will come down, or they probably won't, but they have the right to come down and just check up, and I'm sure the first few, they just might do it. But they'll check on us, make sure we're doing it per the design, per the approval, and as you see here, Mr. Spalding, it's obvious that we're gonna be utilizing him a lot moving forward.
I know we get the permit, but then do they have to actually design, say what it takes? They got a
Well-
specification or something?
Yeah, what they do is that, and it's different, as Keith can tell you, it's different depending on the waterway,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, how
Whether
much-
it's a small waterway, whether it's an actual stream, if it's a blue line stream, there's a lot of
Yeah.
different qualifications. But that's where Brad comes in regards to putting the design together for Jimmy, all right? We bid it out, all right? We get the pricing, we've got the engineered design. We send that along with the permit to Frankfurt, Division of Environmental Cabinet, the Environmental Cabinet, and the Floodplain Division, sign off on it, so you guys are good, rock and roll, okay?
So if we get it permitted and they give us a design that said this is what it's gotta be. then
Well,
that's-
they look at our design, and
Yeah,
they'll say,
well,
well, that's not
yeah,
right.
they gotta okay it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then they very well can put stipulations on it as well, because they go by the flow of the water and so forth, and they can
The
come back and say,
watershed and everything
they can
else.
come back and say, hey, look, your 6 foot, border wall here isn't enough. It needs to be 12 or whatever, so.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that that's on, moving forward, that's on every box culvert, that's
Mm-hmm.
on every bridge. I mean, so.
Every creek bank.
Every creek bank,
Every
yeah.
time we get in the
Well,
creek.
just stay away from them creek banks, so, so, yeah.
We're on the edge of the roads. I mean, we that's what we called about a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's hard to, emergency situations are a little bit different. Brian explained to us, but just like on the bridge on Landers Creek, they have allowed us to go ahead and put that bridge in because it is an emergency situation, so.
That's the only time they'll allow that, yeah.
But, and they've also told us we could take the other one out, so, that's where we're at on that, so. And that, Jimmy, you want to comment? We did talk to Hornback about removing the existing Jack Creek slow water crossing, and it's about $300 to $3,500 to do that.
They're gonna be putting Landers Creek in starting today. He said, way over here, they go over and tear it out, and anywhere roughly $3,000, $3,500 to tear it out, and get everything out of the creek, and we gonna haul it off.
All right, so before we begin, I've got a question. Keith, you might have the answer, you might have to find out, I don't know, but is there any permit that we have to obtain to go into that, to allow Hornback to go into that?
Okay, I'll answer that.
I'm sorry, yeah.
We had as part of the notice of violation, I've been working with water quality on this, Sabrina, and also Marion Thomas, who is a floodplain. And what we had to do is we submitted a remediation information sheet, what we had planned to do as far as taking that out of that race. We submitted that, Brad Spalding, we gave Brad all of the GPS coordinates, pictures and everything that it took for him to submit that form. The reason he submitted it is because it required to have a professional engineer
Right.
submit it and sign off. I would have submitted it had I been able.
So what, your answer to the question is yes, and you've got it taken care of?
I do.
Well, everybody heard that, so I'll just make sure.
But I'm waiting. I actually emailed Sabrina Pennington and Marilyn yesterday, and I said, as soon as you all set a little they set a committee up to review the remediation form. As soon as you all bless it, you can send me an email or something saying that we're approved to get in the creek
Awesome,
and to remove it.
awesome.
Now, the reason he is really contracted with Hornbeck maybe to do it, rather than the county do it, is because they really don't want you in the creek or in a blue line stream with a tracked vehicle. You can use rubber tire stuff, but it's going to take a long reach, a boom, to get that stuff broken up and taken out of there.
When you say it's,
Don't have the equipment to do it anyway.
when you say they don't want you in there, and that's supposed to be a definite no-no?
It is a
You
no-no.
can get in there with a rubber tire.
No, rubber tire, but you said they really don't want you in there with the track, like it might be okay, but I understand that you can't get in with the track.
No, that's right.
They understood when I submitted the form, and Brad gave me the form, and we signed up of it, sent it to Frankfurt. They said, we understand that it's going to be hard for you all to take that slab out without getting in the creek.
Yeah.
And we will bless you to do that if you can't find another way. But Hornback has a track hoe, and you got to understand that a backhoe has about a 15 or 16 foot reach. A track hoe has a 26 foot reach. He can probably take that track hoe on either side of the creek and reach in there and pull that stuff out. We don't have a track hoe. We have to run a track hoe, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, and a hammer.
And a hammer. They have that. So they can do it while we're looking at it, trying to rent something. Plus, it's going to cost probably as much to do it if we rented as if they did. So,
You know, one interesting thing I did find out, I asked Miss Pennington, very nice, I asked her, I said, well, are these new regulations? I said, is this a new regulation that's been put in effect here in the last year or two? And she said, well, it's a couple of decades. I was like, uh-oh, okay, all right.
actually, they were changed in March of last year.
Well, she said every 5 years they renew, they go through and they review them.
They were changed.
Yeah.
But you see, they never enforced them. They really didn't. And they actually busted other counties surrounding us for the same thing. But they've got a new level of enforcement now with Division of Water, which is a good thing. And, but they only investigated on a complaint basis usually. And the other two counties that we put in the memo, I think it's Washington and Nelson, both had complaints of people in creeks. And that brought water quality into, and they cited the fiscal court. And you're right. Regardless of whether Hornbeck gets a permit or not, they're going to go after the deep pocket.
Yeah.
That's us.
Well, it's ultimately our responsibility, so.
If we get Hornbeck, I want to make one more comment if I can. If we put it in the bid for Hornbeck to get the water quality permits for installation, we can do that. I've asked Jimmy to have them forward all of that to me. Let me see what they've gotten to make sure that we're not going to be culpable and liable for something they didn't do.
Well, that's my point. My point is, that's why I would want to do it myself to ensure that it's done and done correctly.
We're working toward that end right now.
Okay.
Isn't that Wicker's district?
Yes, it is.
Do you own the sledgehammer?
I got a old house.
You always fixing culverts, fix this mess.
147. He'd be hammering a while, that's for sure.
Well, that's my
He's scared to get in the creek, in the stream.
Probably is.
My hope is that we do all of the permitting through our own agency here.
Right.
And I'm working toward that end. But we've got an issue going right now. We've got 35 to 40 different creek repair areas in this county that we need to do. Now, I've got an environmental, Hall Environmental, who does testing at the transfer station. Randy, Shelley, and Cindy Leeser is helping us do the initial permitting on about 5 sites. They're going to give me everything they do, and hopefully me and Sharon and Jimmy and all of us, we can do our own going forward. But we got to get caught up.
Are they charging for that?
Sure.
Have we approved that?
Appreciate you going beyond what you're supposed to do.
How much does Hall Associates charge?
Probably run about 500 a permit for them to do the administrative part.
Okay, but they haven't done it yet. Okay, gotcha.
Do we need to get that okay, that he has to
Yeah,
proceed?
It's run 500 to 700 a permit to do it, that's what he told me.
well, I'd say, yeah, I would say that when you get ready to do it, just get an actual figure from him or an invoice, and we can make a motion based on that.
We forwarded the information yesterday on 5 different sites. 2 on Bob Curtis and 3 on Keeler, I guess. No, what was it, Jimmy?
2 on Keezer, 2 on Bob Curtis, 1 on Jones.
So I'll pin him down and get a
Figures on it.
figure on it, bring it back to you.
Yeah, it's Matt,
With Brad Spalding, we need to
Yeah.
take care of him as well.
We had to use him on those.
you know,
Yeah.
it might be, and it might not be, but with the consideration of, in regards to doing it right and so forth, you know, Brad's obviously, he's very qualified, very capable, he's done work for us before, but that's something that we might want to discuss if he would be willing to work with us on a retainer basis.
We've talked to him about that,
Already brought that up.
and he works for Nelson County full-time, so he was going to discuss it with Dean Watts to see if it was something that he would be allowed to do. So he's going to let us know, and then when he does, we'll bring it back to court and
Sounds
see
good.
what we
Thank you,
can
Keith.
do.
Thanks, sir.
Well, do we need to approve this water crossing removal, 3 to 3,500?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item number 7, consider approval of executive order number 18001E for emergency replacement of Landers Creek Road Bridge.
Real quick question. Jimmy, how wide did you say that's going to be?
22 to 24 feet.
22 inch? Oh, so it's going to,
22 to 24 feet.
Oh, I thought you meant 22 and 24, so 22 to 24.
That's the Landers Creek?
That's a limb.
We got funding for this.
We did
to-
receive an emergency grant fund for that, so
That's going to help out that curve there as well, or it should, correct?
Narrow there, I mean, I don't know how many went up there and looked at it, but it's narrow, real narrow.
Well, we've gone to it more all the time, but we need to keep in mind that as far as agriculture, we need to put everything as wide as we can. We've got bridge money, and one of the complaints I have in my district is the places that people can't get through.
Well, you have it all over the county. I mean, you'll see a
Yeah.
combine.
Yeah, so,
Is this, does it have a
So this-
high
wider the
rail
better.
or low?
No, it's not gonna have no high rails. It's
Just
gonna
those
have
little-
like 8-inch
Yeah,
curves on it.
so they can get, equipment can hang over good.
Now, how wide is you go just right down there past, I
I
can't
think
think,
it's 15 to 16 feet.
okay, how long ago was that put in there? Eight, I was going to say 8, 10 years.
8, 10
Okay. But I think we all agree with Masterson about ensuring they're 22 to 24 feet wide, so thank you. Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item 8, consider approval of resolution number 18001R concerning a replacement of Landers Creek Road Bridge.
Motion?
Second?
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker? Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Number 9, consider approval to retain Brad Spalding, P.E., professional engineer, to satisfy state permitting requirements for Landers Creek Bridge project and Jack Rakes Road low water slab crossing.
Motion? Second?
Mr. Wicker?
Yeah.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Will somebody check Mr. Wicker's vocal cords? There's something wrong, I can't pick him
That
up.
wasn't
Sound like
me,
that.
that was him.
He and
Sounds like-
sound a whole lot alike.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Well, ago, he didn't say anything, he just got a nod his head. I don't know what's going on here, people.
He's ventriloquist.
Item 10, consider approval to reschedule the second October meeting date to Wednesday, October 17th at 4 p.m.
That, would not be, Lisa, probably, but I mean, just.
Why are we
what's on-
moving it?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be out of town, so I was gonna move it.
I mean, it won't be like, you have to list everything, it'll be,
Had to be on the agenda.
yeah,
That's on the agenda.
That's right.
okay, that's what I meant, just
Not a problem.
pay the bills and.
Motion?
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker? Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Item 11, department reports. Jimmy, I know you turned them in here.
I'm gonna have to need to order 50 signposts,
It don't surprise me.
$700. Need to order 4 cars, put back in stock, $4,044. We sell a lot of dumpsters here, like, need to order 4 dumpsters, $6,150. And that bridge we just talked about, 35 months, total $14,794.
Well, we've already approved the
Yeah.
3,500. Motion to approve with the exclusion of Hornback.
Second.
So the signs haven't slowed down much then, I take it.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle?
Yes.
Mr. Wicker?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Masterson?
Yes.
Unanimous.
We done, talked about when they're gonna start, they're gonna start on the Landers Creek Day. Chip seal, on Elm Schoolhouse Road, we got half of it done today, we'll finish it up tomorrow.
Sounds good.
And-
Thank you.
And I told Jimmy, got a lot of good comments on the completed Lover's Lane Road, and it rained the whole time, but they did a good job.
Yeah, I was talking to David Ford, he was very tickled, so, yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim. You got anything else?
Not unless you all have anything to say. Good job.
You've done a good job, Mr.
Great
Rock.
report, keep the good work up, thank you.